It is the question that everybody is asking. Was last year just a flash in the pan? A playoff berth or a flash in the pan? Did the Panthers at 8-9 win the NFC South and do it just because no one else could do it? Just because the division was so bad? And that's what people are saying across the league, seriously. There's still that undertone, that undercurrent that permeates the NFL, which is, are the Panthers serious? Is this a serious football team? Is this a team that is respectable, that is going to be consistent? That maybe you don't highlight the Carolina Panthers and 31 other teams fear the hell out of them, but it's like year in and year out, this is a team that's consistent and good. Maybe not everything's perfect, but it doesn't need to be because you're a good, respectable team and franchise. The standard. Are they the standard? Or do they regress? Or do they go back? Because you're not far removed from being really bad. And now the NFL, the league, the Panthers have 3 primetime games in 2026. 3 of them. With my personal favorite coming week 4 at home against the Lions. They're giving the Panthers a chance. Giving this team a chance. The NFL's taking you seriously. The league is starting to take you seriously so others can. So that roar, it wasn't just a growl in January of 2026. Instead, it is a never-ending loop that inspires fear across the league for years to come. It is the ultimate test for the Carolina Panthers this coming season, and a strong schedule is the cost of making the playoffs last season. They have a first-place schedule, some really good games. And if you didn't see it, I just watched it. The Panthers on X released their schedule. They did a video where they released it. And let me tell you, I'm from New England originally. You know you're in the South when your schedule release video is literally a PETA violation. It was unbelievable. They're using explosives to reveal each game, blowing up each game. I won't ruin it too much for you, but it's unbelievable. It's like they just know the fan base is like, oh yeah, woo! PETA, who's Peter? I hate Peter. Blow them things up. Woo! It was great. It was an amazing schedule release. I've never seen anything quite like it. The Panthers blowing up random objects that supposedly symbolize each team. Like they had a big teddy bear for week 1's matchup against the Chicago Bears, and they exploded it. Unbelievable. They're going to have some legitimate tests against great quarterbacks. Great quarterbacks. I wrote them all down. You have Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Tyler Shuck, yes, I said it, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold. Good quarterbacks. And even in the case of guys like Williams or Darnold, maybe Lamar you even put in this category. I don't know. I think Lamar's elite. Goff, Hurts, quarterbacks that might not be Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes caliber. Maybe you don't consider them to be top 5 quarterbacks or knocking on the door of that. But they have some damn good offenses. Some really good offenses. That's what stands out to me. You're playing some tough offenses, and don't sleep on Baker Mayfield in the division. Vegas set the odds. So the NFL, the league, the media people, I think they're higher on the Panthers, and they're giving the Panthers a chance. They're giving you 3 primetime games. They're saying, we want it to work. We want to be sold on the David Tepper revival. We want to be sold on Dan Morgan. We want to be sold on Dave Canales, Bryce Young even. We want to be sold on this core. We're going to give you a chance to prove it. Vegas is a little bit more sobering. The Panthers' initial odds open 7.5 wins, the over-under. Behind Tampa, which is the favorite to win the South with 8.5 wins. Don't sleep on Baker Mayfield. Don't sleep on Baker. He was in the MVP race until halfway through last season. And I think the South in general, I think the Panthers have a good chance to win the division, but you have some sleeping giants. You do. And to me, as much as that Week 4 game against Detroit is going to be a test, it's going to be a moment for the Panthers to really find their own. Really a coming-of-age moment, if you would. Motor City, coming to town, big shot team, big shot coach. You can prove it on Sunday Night Football. You can have Collinsworth fawning over your team. You can have him in the booth fumbling for words because you're up 20 points. That's going to be cool. But you know what I think is even cooler and has less sex appeal? Beating Baker twice, beating Tyler Shuck twice, beating those guys. Tyler Shuck last year, 24-33, 272 yards and a touchdown in the first outing. 19 of 27, 282 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second outing against the Panthers. The Saints, Dan Morgan knows this. He understands this, and I almost made a video about it after the draft, but I'm glad I'm getting to it now. Dan Morgan understands the Saints are a sleeping giant. He gets it. And he understands that this upcoming season, it's important. Momentum's big in sports. I say it all the time, but the Saints have the potential to have a really good offense. I like Tyler Shuck. I think he can play. They just drafted Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver out of ASU, forks up. 2 first-round tackles on that offensive line. A really good offensive line. A great coach in Kellen Moore. A coach and quarterback that I think really are on the same page, more so than Bryce and Canales/Idzik, more so than Baker, and certainly Todd Bowles. Zach Robinson's the new play caller at OC in Tampa, so who knows how that works out. But Shuck and Moore, that dynamic between coach and play caller, they have it. And they have some good talent on that offense to succeed. But this is why you added Jalen Phillips. This is why you add Devin Lloyd. This is why you put the defense over the top. This is why you make those moves. This is why you aggressively fill needs in free agency, as Dan Morgan says. Because you know that they're knocking on the door. Sleeping giant. Putting a little feather under his nose. That's what's going on in New Orleans right now. And man, it's important you hold your own. As much as these primetime games are cool and all that. 3-4 or 3-1 in those 4 games against the Bucs and Saints. That's what I would like to see more than anything. Can you hold your own against those teams? And like I said, I thought Tampa's a little bit of a sinking ship, but Baker Mayfield, never count him out. He's a gamer. How about Bryce Young? How about this? I went game by game by game. And I named all those quarterbacks you have matchups against. On paper, I don't think Bryce Young is better than Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, Tyler Shuck, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold. These are guys that are all better than Bryce Young to me. And you go down the list, and there is just 5 games that I give Bryce Young the quarterback matchup advantage. Bryce Young is the better quarterback in this game. He'll be better than whoever the Browns have. The Falcons, that's a dead bird. The Vikings, Kyler Murray, I thought Bryce Young, he had 2 turnovers in that Arizona game last year that set you back in week 2. But I think Bryce Young's better than Kyler Murray. Steelers and Falcons, again. So that's 5 games where, again, my take is you go into it with a quarterback advantage. He's in a year where Dan Morgan just went on the Rich Eisen show, and I could do a whole video about this. Just put out some questionable messaging on Bryce Young. Certainly a long-term contract isn't a guarantee for him, at the very least. Now, the clutch king in the 4th quarter of his career, that is this season, metaphorically. A guy that is perpetually considered the clutch king, the guy that elevates, and whatever you say about Bryce, he turns the ball over, he's had some mistakes, I get that. I don't think the moment is ever too big for him. I don't think that's ever been his issue. I don't think the moment being too big, too overwhelming, the late 4th quarter drive, I don't think that gets into Bryce Young's head. I don't. I think he tends to elevate in those situations. It's more so what happens before that moment. Well, now he's in the 4th quarter of his career, essentially. This is your 4th year. This is your year to really solidify your future in the NFL. You're going into it a massive underdog. 12 of these games, you're not the better quarterback on the field. 12 of these games, playing Jordan Love at the bank. Going against Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams. Joe Burrow travels to Charlotte. Lamar Jackson. Elite quarterbacks. Elite quarterbacks. How does he respond to this? And that's important for the Panthers' destiny too, because you had a top 15 defense last year. The schedule just got a lot harder. The offenses you're playing are pretty lethal. To be better than you were last year, you're going to need the defense to improve or the offense to improve. The defense was already pretty good last year. And I think they have top 5 potential. But it's as much as adding Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd is great, you're banking on guys staying healthy. And you're banking on your defense being truly elite against a tough schedule. The offense, on the other hand, 26th in points scored. Generally bad last season. How does this offense respond? How does this offense, going into these games where you're playing some other teams that are pretty dang good, how do you show up? How does the offense show up and fight in these games and prove that the Panthers belong? That this is something that consistently is going to work. It's going to withstand the trials of time. And the Panthers, Dan Morgan used this words, I think last offseason. He goes, we need to earn our arrival. Earn our arrival. So if you're listening to Dan Morgan, last year was about earning your arrival. Well, you've arrived. Your foot is in the door. How do you take one of those freaking things the police use and bulldoze the door down and sit on the couch and smoke a joint? This is our house. The Carolina Panther is stoned. This is the tone. Don't do, I don't know if I can say the word on YouTube. Don't do those things, kids. Stay sober. Sobriety school. This is the tone. I dare you to stay tuned to this program.